Once we can start exploration going again, we'll quickly add new resources and reserves that will justify an expansion of the mine. And maybe we can take it to 1,500 to 1,000 tons a day over the next couple of years. And potentially, I see this growing to maybe 3,000 tons a day, provided that the exploration works out the way I believe it will.
Welcome to the My Future Business Show, where we get you in front of your best audience and keep you there. Not only are we interviewing the biggest names in business to help you become even more successful, we're inviting you to book your spot on the show to help you grow your business. So at the end of the call, make sure you fill in the interview application form at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews.
Hello and welcome back to the show. My name is Rick Nusky. I hope you're doing very well today and thank you very much for joining us. Now, if this is your first time on the show, I know that you're in for a treat. And for those of you who have supported the show for any length of time, thank you very much for your support. I've been reading your feedback and it's making all of the difference to me knowing that the show is making a difference for you. Now, speaking about making a difference, today I have the pleasure of welcoming CEO and President of Alterly Mining Corporation, Mr. Ralph Shearing. Welcome to the show, Ralph.
Thank you very much, Rick. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, absolutely. A pleasure to have you here. We're going to be talking all things mining. We're going to be taking a look at local and global events and how they're having an impact on the mining sector. We're going to look at the day-to-day operations, management structure and governance, amongst other things, as well as the opportunity that awaits investors. But before we do any of that, Ralph, where are you calling in from today?
I'm located in Vancouver, Canada.
Oh, beautiful. Has that been home forever?
Well, for quite a while. I grew up on Vancouver Island, and when I started university, I moved to Vancouver and kind of call it my home base ever since.
Fantastic. What do you love about the place?
Well, Vancouver's a great city. I mean, you live in a big city, but you don't feel like you're in a city at all. I've got the forest behind me and both sides and trails anywhere I can walk to in a couple minutes time. So
now tell me, Ralph, do you take advantage of all this beauty that surrounds you? Do you go walking often?
Yeah, I try to as much as I can, although it's been pretty busy the last couple of years, so I haven't been able to enjoy it as much as I'd like to.
Yeah, well, look, it's been both hectic and busy for a multitude of different reasons, and I'd love to, I guess, talk about that in some length. But what is a landmark? Just so for people who don't know where you live, what's a landmark around that they might be familiar with?
In Vancouver?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I see. There's tourist type attraction, suspension bridges across very large gorges. The ocean's right there. Grouse Mountains up top. You can go skiing and have a nice dinner up on the top of the mountain overlooking Vancouver.
Very nice, very nice.
Many of them around.
So in terms of other hobbies and sports, do you actually do anything else other than, I guess, hiking and walking?
Yeah, I do. Well, I do a lot of walking. I try to keep myself in good shape, get some exercise in. I still play old timers hockey. I probably should hang out my skates, but I'm stubborn here and still get out once a week during the season, try to score a goal.
And are you a bit of a hacker on the court or not?
I've played a lot of hockey in the past, so I get by. I'm 65 and I play in a over 50 league.
Looking fantastic. Now, I'm wondering, when you have some downtime, which I guess is not much, how do you spend it? What's the quality of time spent on? Is it movies? Is it going out? What do you like to do?
No, I like outdoors. I like to go fishing. As I said, hiking. My wife and I tend to try to get away on a little vacation in the summer together, and we'll do a number of things. Go up to Okanagan on a wine tour, or head across to Vancouver Island and inland island, nice beautiful areas up there.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's lots to do. There's no shortage of things to do around Vancouver and the province of British Columbia.
And as soon as you said wine, my ears pricked up. I live in McLaren Vale in Australia, South Australia, one of the nicer wine regions. So I'm wondering, do you have a particular red that you enjoy over another?
Well, there's lots of good ones. I mean, I do really like the Australian wines. My wife prefers those. Although there's one that here in BC that we've kind of grown accustomed to. Momi, I think it's called. Beautiful Pinot Noir. Nice stuff.
It's really nice when you can match a wine with a nice piece of meat or whatever it is that you choose to eat, isn't it?
Yeah, we eat a lot of fish, but we're red wine drinkers, so not traditional white with fish. We like red wine.
Thank you for sharing. Now, I wonder if we can just pivot back momentarily. When you were growing up, I'm wondering if you had people around you as you were, a younger man, going from, a young boy to a young man that helped in you in those formative years to, plant the seed of entrepreneurialism and business and those sorts of things.
Yeah, I would have to say yes. I mean, I come from a family of 5 brothers. We were all working in the logging industry when we were very young. We were very cheap labor for our father. He was what we term a Jippo logger. So he had us all out working at a very young age. We used to cut fence posts for farmers and firewood to sell that. We had a very active upbringing as we're kids. So really got instilled in us the necessity to succeed and try to do good things in your life.
Now, you don't get to be where you are without hard work and discipline. Tell us a little bit about, how your professional life has evolved and how important discipline was as part of that.
Very good question. I mean, I graduated from University of British Columbia with a Bachelor of Science degree in geology back in 1981 or so. And then I worked for a bigger company throughout Canada, northern British Columbia, over into northern Quebec and Ontario, into Nova Scotia, and ran around the bush searching for minerals for these companies, getting a very good background in mineral exploration and development. And then around I can't remember now, early 90s, I guess, got laid off. No, even earlier than that. It would have been about 85, 86, I guess. Got laid off from the big company, and I started my own exploration services company.
Mm-hmm.
Started doing line cutting geophysics on a contract basis for mining companies.
Mm-hmm.
Then one of the guys that was working for me was a diamond driller. He had an old diamond drill, and we were talking away, and I thought, well, you know what, I'll try and find you some work for your drill, and we go into partnerships. We did that, and we actually had a very successful diamond drilling company for a number of years, and worked for the Hunter Dickinson Group. Our biggest project was over a 500,000 foot drill program for them.
Wow.
So we grew very quickly into a little significant drilling company.
Mm-hmm.
And then, things got bad. There wasn't any money in the industry, so no work around. And
Happens.
I actually started this company in 1987 with a colleague of mine from university, and we worked together. We saw little junior companies doing all these things, and we said, it must be easy. Well, let's form a company and get going on it. And we listed this company in 1987, 2 months before a major market crash called Black Friday. So we learned very quick that things aren't quite as easy as you'd like them to be.
That's a great story. It takes a certain type of person, having years of experience in surface exploration, drilling myself, and stope mining and all these things. It takes a certain person. Tell me what that experience has meant to you and how it's formed your lifestyle.
Well, I'm a bit of a stubborn bugger. That's what they say. And I never wanted to give up on the company. When I start something, I want to finish it.
Mm.
And that kind of attitude got me exploring down in Mexico in the late 90s. And I got involved in a project as a minor interest holder. The partners weren't very good, and that one failed. And then I was traveling around, and I found this Tabahueto project, this one in the back behind
Yes.
me. And that was, I went on it, looked at it as an exploration geologist, and said, I got to have this.
Got a piece
I
of
got to have
that.
this project in the company. It's just a big district scale project. The veins were thick and wide and long, and it just, I knew I wanted it. And so we acquired it for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the, so like 23 years we've had this project, you can only push it forward when you have access to capital. And out of those 23 some odd years, I'll bet you I only had access to capital 7 or 8 of them. So the rest of the time you're sitting around trying to figure out how to keep it alive.
Mm.
So that's really how we got Tabahueto up and to the point it is now. And in the meantime, after we did some refinancing in 2015 and the Mexican group came in and helped us out, we acquired the Campo Morado mine right after that.
Fantastic.
So just been pushing Tabahueto forward to production, and any day we're getting ready to start. So it's been a very satisfying experience.
Very exciting, very timely for you to join us on the show, and I'm very thankful for you to be here. Now, I'm wondering, in terms of the earlier days and your exposure to risk based on capital investment and all these other things. There'd be a lot of people on the show today who are, I guess, green behind the ears when it comes to making huge investments and exposing themselves to such risk. What can you tell us about risk and risk management and that sort of thing?
Well, the mining side of things, mineral exploration, mining is a risky business. Everyone needs to understand that.
Yeah.
So you've got to, if you're investing in the sector, your timing's got to be right. And, right now, I think the timing is perfect, the way the world conditions are. So that's part of it. And the other part is be very careful of the project and of management. Make sure that the project's got merit, it's got some meat behind it. And most important is the management team, and make sure that they're people who can move it forward, know how to move it forward and get it forward and raise money. And there's just so many aspects of mineral exploration development in the public sector that you need to be aware of, and they're very risky at times as well.
Yeah.
So, that's what advice I'd give people. Be careful, watch what you invest in, make sure the technical aspects of the project are good. And a lot of people may not know that, but if you follow a company and ask around and look into what brokerage companies follow them, etc., and be inquisitive, ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, well, for lack of better ways to put it, understand the lay of the land. Now, there's also a positive upside to risk. Now, I know that recently your performance has been just astounding, and you've got a fairly low share value at the moment. And what do you see happening with that? And tell us what's been happening.
So our share price is very low for what we've got going on.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a number of different reasons. We had a bit of a tough past 2 years ago, and prior to that, we were really struggling, and we were running our Campo Morado project, and zinc prices were low. We were losing money. We couldn't keep it operating, and we were using some of the money, the positive cash flow from Campo Morado, to help fund our construction at Tahuehueto. So we got offside with a lot of our covenants and our loan agreements, and that was a particularly tough time. But it started to turn around in 2020 when we had some management changes. We went in and got Campo Morado back in operation, really started paying attention on the people that we had employed there, hired a great mine manager who came in and really started to clean up the project, reduce the costs, and at the same time, metal prices started to increase for us. So it was a double whammy, and some very good things started to happen. And then with that success, we were able to get ourselves back on side with our lenders, renegotiate our loan agreements, giving us time to fund and get Tahuehueto back in construction. And that's what we did. So we've been back on Tahuehueto for about a year now, and we're just pushing forward. The mine's being built, and we are very, within days, ready to start up this project with one ball mill.
Yeah, wow.
That's a real big catalyst for us, because now we go from a one mine company to two mine company. And not only that, this Tahuehueto mine, the one we're bringing on production now, it's primarily a gold project. So we expect to have over 60% of our revenue coming from precious metals once Tahuehueto is in full production. And that should allow us to get a re-rating as a high-growth precious metal producer. And yet we still have a strong component of base metals at both at Campo Morado especially. And that gives us some protection from potential problems in the gold market. So we've got a bit of flexibility to move around and produce at any particular zone in Campo Morado. And it might have more copper, might have more zinc, depending on what metal prices are like for any particular commodity we're producing.
Yeah, that's wonderful feedback. Thank you very much. Now, Ralph, I always think about topography and boundaries. Now, from an operational standpoint, how difficult, given, I guess, the lay of the land on these projects, is it to get people in and out and support them?
Oh, well, both projects have a little bit different access. At Campo Morado, we're close to a community, major highways right there. So we're about a 20-minute drive off of from the community of Arcilia in the state of Guerrero, and its access is good. We have electrical grid power right to the mine site, so everything at that mine is much better than Tahuehueto. However, even at Tahuehueto, we can drive to this project at Tahuehueto in about 6 hours, 5 to 6 hours from the nearest community. as well, just from working on the project itself, you can see behind me, this is very rugged topography.
Oh yeah.
And, as challenging as it is, we can still make roads. You can see the drill access roads behind me. So we can make access roads pretty much anywhere we want to. But this very challenging topography actually makes this a very low cost mine, because we just drive a tunnel right into the side of the hill, and we're driving drop our ore into ore shroud or ore pass to the production level, and we drive it out in a dump truck to the mill. And the mill's only about 300 meters out of the entrance of the portal, main production portal. So it is a really low cost producer because of the topography, and it's such a high grade operation. It's very profitable for us.
So what do you go ahead?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So what are your production estimates, and what sort of breakdown in minerals do you expect to see as a percentage, I guess?
So around 70% of this project Tabaweto will be gold production.
Right.
The 12% will be silver, and the rest in base metals. Our costs here are looking at we just started publishing a new pre-feasibility study. So we actually filed that this afternoon on our government filing system.
Yep.
And new press release is going out tomorrow morning on the economics of it. But it's a very robust project. We're going to be producing gold here at $844 per gold equivalent ounce, and gold right now is $1,900 plus. So it will be quite a profitable situation for us.
I touched on boundaries, and obviously with boundaries comes neighbours and relationships, and veins don't just stop at the border, do they? Now, what are, I guess, some of the relationships that you have going on around, just so investors got a bit of an idea?
Well, we're very lucky on Tabaweto. As I said before, it's a district scale project.
Yeah.
And we've only explored a very, very small portion of it.
Yeah.
So this district's about 12 kilometers long by 8 kilometers wide. We only have one competitor in there who has a small amount of ground around our internal block of concessions. And that's a very major mining company. It's Fresnillo in Mexico, one of the biggest mining companies in Mexico. And incidentally, the CEO of Fresnillo, his brother, Ruben Alvidrez, is one of our directors.
Yep.
So we have a decent relationship with that group, but their ground is not critical to our project.
Your main project, yeah.
We actually own about 83% of the prospective ground within the Tabaweto district.
Yep.
In our concessions. So it's we've got the bulk of the prospective ground in our concessions.
That certainly would increase the rate of confidence for prospective investors looking at this today, and that's wonderful feedback. Thank you very much. Now, in terms of your exploration potential, the XY pattern grid, it's very hard to follow that because you're not on sort of flat land. What are your plans to, scale over this rugged terrain?
Well, there's just so much exploration potentially. I'm gonna just try and point some things out here for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure if it's going to show.
No, just use your finger. I think it'd work better.
Okay, so this zone, it's all backwards. So this zone here, this is the El Creston zone, and gotta get it going the right way.
Left is right.
Yeah, it's funny. It goes up over this hill, and on the other side. Well, it comes out the other side up there. It's all backwards. Sorry.
That's fine. I get it.
But anyways, it goes. We have the structure from Cinco de Mayo down here.
Yep.
Yeah, and go up and over. There's Cinco de Mayo, and the zone comes up here to the Creston area, and then continues up the hillside.
Yep.
Goes over the other side. So right over the other side here.
Yep. That
you
peak.
pick the zone up again, and that's about 3.4 kilometers distance that we have on that one structure, and it's still open in both directions, and we still have not found the limits of the mineralization to depth along that structure. All our drilling is from surface. It's about, not average hole is about 200 meters. It just gets too costly to drill from surface when you go deeper. So a lot of our exploration potential is going to be from underground.
Or angular cuts?
Sorry?
Do you do any angular drilling to...
Yeah, we'll do fan holes, underground, up and down holes, from cross cuts within our underground workings.
Yeah.
And we expect that there's one area let's see if I can find it again, between up here.
Yep.
See that big rock above
I certainly do.
my finger there?
Yep.
That's a younger rock that covers over the main zones. And we haven't been able to drill under there. There's about 600 to 700 meters of unexplored distance along our major structure that has not been drilled yet. And we've drifted in about 150 meters along that structure, and we're in mineralization all the way. And I believe that once we get continuing to work underground, extend that underground at it, and then provide drill stations, that will drill off that area between what we call our Perdido zone and Santiago zone, which is over the other side of the hill. And I think that's going to potentially add a third to our reserves and resources.
Oh, wow.
And with that, we expect to justify an expansion of the mine we're actually building. So we're building a 1,000 ton per day underground mining operation. We're going to produce about 26,000 ounces of gold annually.
Yep.
On a gold equivalent basis, it'll be more like 45,000 ounces if you add all the metals and equate them to gold.
Mm-hmm.
So we think that once we can start exploration going again, we'll quickly add new resources and reserves that will justify an expansion of the mine, and maybe we can take it to 1,500 to 2,000 tons a day over the next couple of years. And potentially, I see this growing to maybe 3,000 tons a day in less than a 5-year term, provided that the exploration works out the way I believe it will. And I have a strong amount of knowledge about this project. I've been on it for a long time.
Long time.
I'm confident in what I'm stating here.
Yeah, fantastic. You can't buy experience, and that's certainly one thing that goes in your favour. Now, in terms of the byproduct minerals that might be extracted as a result of the gold extraction, are there any big potentials for, those lesser minerals, for lack of better ways to term it?
Well, we have a decent amount of silver. We have about, I think it's 60 grams of silver. So that's not quite 2 ounces of silver per ton. We have a couple percent zinc, percent and a bit lead, and there's a little bit of copper too. So we'll be producing 3 concentrates, initially 2 concentrates, a lead and a zinc concentrate, and the vast majority of the precious metals go into the lead concentrate. So we sell a very precious metal rich lead concentrate.
Yep.
And the other commodities are minor in the sense of probably, I think silver is about 12%, 70% gold, so less than 20% contribution to revenue from the base metals.
Yeah, it's a constant variable, if there is such a term, isn't it? You can't really be sure. I mean, you might hit a major strike of silver in the next day or so. You just wouldn't know.
No, that's very true. And these epithermal systems tend to be zoned. So the further you get away from a heat source, you might get more gold, might get more silver, less base metals. So that's all will be found out or known as we continue to explore the project.
So tell us a little bit, if we could just pivot a little bit and talk about global events. Is anything that's happening around the world, you've got your COVIDs, the war, and all this other rubbish that's happening at the moment. Has it impacted the way that you're running the business at all, Ralph?
Well, I'm not sure that it's impacted the way we run it, other than it's making it a lot more lucrative for us. I mean, the metal prices are fantastic. I mean, gold, I see a very, very good future in the near term for gold. I believe we're at the cusp of a very major increase in gold prices and precious metal prices.
Yep.
Commodity prices are fantastic right now. This has been some of the higher commodity prices for base metals we've seen in a long, long time, with zinc's at over $2 a pound. Traditionally, it's like $1.10, $1.20. So, these are very good times for mining companies, and yet, we're not seeing the interest paid to us from the markets yet, especially our company, because of the development in the past. And I believe that once Tahueto comes on stream, people start to look at our financial statements, which really aren't that bad as they are from Campo Morado, because we've been doing very well in Campo Morado, that you'll see a very good re-rating of our company, and we'll start to achieve the market cap that we believe and know we should be
achieving. Yes, absolutely. And tell us a little bit about your shareholder institutes that are involved with your organisation, then we'll pivot on to management.
Yeah, we've got a fair number of institutions. Sprott Asset Management from the U.S. is a shareholder. We have Trafigura. Trafigura is our commodity off-taker, and they've got a decent share position in our company. We have several funds out of New York, small precious metal private funds.
Yep.
What else? A couple in Europe for small funds. So, we've got I think we're about a 27% holding institutional holding in our company.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for the feedback. Now, in terms of, I guess, the board of directors and management in general, I guess more at the operational level as well, tell us about David Rones. What's his involvement in the organization?
Yeah, David joined us along with several other directors when we were really trying to strengthen up the board of directors. And David is our chairman. So David is the managing partner, managing director of Endeavour Financial. Endeavour Financial is a very strong mining group out of the UK that has helped put deals together, funded mining companies to the tune of several $1 billion. So they've got a strong group behind them, a strong track record of success, and their team is available to us to help us. And we're really planning to grow the company further than the 2 assets we have. Once we get a little healthier later this year, we should be able to go out and start to look for new projects. We're already looking, but I think that'll be Q3, Q4 before we would be able to be in a position to start making some offers. And our idea is to add a few more good mining projects to the company and grow this company, not just from, as you say, a lot of people say organic growth on our projects. We have that ability on both our projects to increase the size of them through exploration. Both of the projects have excellent exploration potential. So we believe we've got very good, strong organic growth possibilities. Then the other way you grow junior public companies is you add new projects to them. And that's really what our goals are, to grow both ways. Absolutely.
And you'd obviously have a lot of contractor relationships for doing any of the work at all?
Yeah, in Mexico, everybody needs to understand Mexico is a very strong mining country. They've been world's top silver producer. They have lots of trained miners, lots of equipment suppliers. They're just an excellent country to be mining in. Yeah. And there's lots of potential there.
So in terms of the stock tickers, tell us a little bit about the different places people can, find them, and what should they be looking for when they look into this sort of thing?
I'm not quite sure I understood your question.
Your stock tickers, I believe you're on TSX.
Oh yeah, okay. So we trade on the TSX Venture Exchange. We're actually going to be applying to the TSX board, the bigger board. As soon as we start production at Tahueto, probably Q3, Q4, we'll graduate up to the TSX. So our symbol right now on the TSX Venture is ATLY, or ALTY, I'm sorry, Altalay. And in the US, you just add an F to that, and we trade on the OTC QX board, which is the highest one on the OTC.
Fantastic. Now, I know there'd be a lot of interested people listening into this now. If they want to find out more information, some in-depth, really information about governance and that sort of thing, where would you be pointing them to?
To our website. We have a very, very informative website. We try to put as much information on there as possible. So just altalaymining.com.
That's easy, isn't it? I love it when it's easy to find out what you need. So look, with all that being said, if you're on today's call and you're interested in Altalay Mining Corporation and finding out more information, which this is about due diligence, duty of care, doing what you need to do to find out, to make an informed decision about anything you do, visit altalaymining.com. Check out the board of directors, the management team, and all the other wonderful information that you're likely to find on the website. With all that being said, Ralph, what a wonderful call. Thank you so very much for joining me on the show today.
It's been my pleasure. I hope I've been able to convey the opportunity that Altalay presents.
Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed the call, then make sure to subscribe, leave a comment, share us with your friends, and book your spot on the show at myfuturebusiness.com/interviews. And if you're looking for solutions that will help grow your business, then visit myfuturebusiness.com/shop.